The new gold standard of audio repair, Isotope RX11 is here.
RX11 is everything you need to fix, enhance, and polish your audio for music and content creation.
Colton Culture listeners get 10% off by using the code FRET10. That's code FRET10, FRET10 at isotope.com for the new RX11.
DistroKid now also has a motherfucking app.
The DistroKid app is available for iOS and Android.
You can now get an additional 30% off if you go to distrokid.com/VIP/cult. That's distrokid.com/VIP/cult.
Or you can get it in the App Store.
Fuck. All right, we're rolling.
Rolling.
Planet B
Presents.
Cult and Culture Podcast.
Welcome to episode 666 of the Cult and Culture Podcast.
Actually, welcome to episode 41 of the Cult and Culture Podcast. I wish it was 666, but it's not there yet. I'm Justin Pearson.
And I'm Lucien Shaw.
This is Captain. So this episode
It's fucking great.
Jeez Louise. Steve Hill, also known as Black Satan. This is so loaded. I don't even know how to articulate the sort of levels of stuff that we did and didn't get to dive into that are surrounding Steve Hill. So he's running for office in the district where he's from, which I thought was Lancaster, but he called it something else. It's sort of like the Inland Empire of Southern California. If you're not from anywhere around here, you won't know what the fuck that means. It's just a little bit east of Los Angeles. It's a bit ass backwards. Sorry. Man. So I guess we kind of came in touch with him through Lucien, Greaves, and the Satanic Temple.
Yeah, he's a comedian as well, and he opened up for us, remember, in Boston.
Yeah.
Which was pretty great.
The first time meeting him, though, was great. It was at downtown rehearsal in Los Angeles, and he drives up in this SUV with the license plate for Satan. And I was just like, dude, I think it's funny. So that's part of the thing that got him in a lot of trouble, that stupid license plate. Well, I don't say it's stupid, but the fact that it's a license plate got him in a lot of trouble.
Situation is stupid, but it does. This whole podcast stems from that license plate.
Yeah,
so.
Which is pretty bizarre. But he's running for office. He's got a lot going against him. One is that he's running as a Satanist, which I feel like that's got to be a thing. You got an uphill battle. He's also black, and so those are two things that I feel like he's got going against him, considering the area that he lives in and the thing he's trying to do, run for office. So if somehow you can support him and his candidacy, and I mean, you can't vote for him if you're not, in the general vicinity, but if you can somehow
spread the word,
I really feel like someone like him should be in politics to help change things, and things aren't changing fast enough. Granted, they're changing in increments, but they're also going backwards, because we dive into that stuff too.
His views on injustice, religion, all of that is just right up my alley. So if I was there, I would definitely vote for him.
Yeah. Twice.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's just dive into it, because I can't even figure out where to even start with this. So,
this one's a ride, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a second episode with him on later on. But yeah, check this one out. We hope you enjoy it. We definitely did. We'll see you on the other side.
My name is Steve Hill. I was born in the summer, August 1961, about 2 weeks after President Barack Obama. Y'all remember him, the president? We're close in age, just a couple of weeks, so we've seen a lot of things together as it relates to America and politics and our social issues and stuff. I kind of like to say Barack and I grew up together. But yeah, I was born on the north side of St. Louis, dirt poor, in the ghetto. Two parents who neither one had a high school diploma, from the South, from Mississippi. That was rough. Graduated high school. I went to University City Senior High School. Graduated high school and immediately went to the United States Marine Corps. That's a dream of mine. I come from a military family. I have men in my family who fought all the way back to the Civil War.
Whoa.
My father fought in World War II. My brother fought in Vietnam. I got another brother that served 23 years as a United States Marine. I myself served 6 years, United States Marine, proudly. I never did see any combat, but I did drink the water at Camp Lejeune. I could die any fucking minute. No, I'm just. But yeah, and after I got out of the Marine Corps, stayed in Los Angeles because I wanted to stay in a state that I thought would be more conducive to my lifestyle and my way of living and thinking. I know coming up in Missouri, I could feel the oppression of religion, and you know, I just felt confined. So I never really wanted to stay in Missouri. I think one of my goals in life was somehow get to California and start my life. So anyways, when I left the Marine Corps, I went to LA. The next day I got a job working in the aerospace industry. I was first just a regular machinist, and then I was retrained to be a CNC machinist, which is computer numerical controlled machinery. Made a lot of parts out of exotic metals like Inconel, A286, titanium, things like that for the stealth program fighters and bombers and all of that. But I kind of got bored, you know, making parts every night. It's like inanimate objects of war. So I kind of wanted more excitement. So what I did is I went and did 10 years in prison as an officer. I was a correctional officer. I worked at 2 different maximum security prisons, one being CCI, which is California Correctional Institution at Tehachapi, and the other being CSPLAC, which is California State Prison, Los Angeles County, which is the only state prison within the bounds of Los Angeles County. I worked there till I got a little disagreement with the administration and decided to take an early retirement. I was retrained to have another occupation, a means of support, create an income stream. I went to school to become a real estate appraiser. So I've been appraising real estate for about the last 20 years, over 20 years now. Gone through a couple of mortgage meltdowns, and
yeah, there's been a couple.
And yeah, there's some conversations there that we got to have.
Yeah.
But I think it was about the time Barack came along, when I saw what he was doing, when I saw how he was motivating and uniting the people, because that's what we need is unity. I figured I could do something, and I always loved comedy. I always loved politics, so I started doing political comedy. And by that, I, traveled around the country, met a lot of people. Matter of fact, that's where I met Lucien in 2015, I believe, at a conference in my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. I met him there, and a mutual friend kind of persuaded me to become a Satanist. And when I looked into it, and we traveled the town, we traveled like Ferguson, that's where Michael Brown had been murdered by the police, and Black Lives Matter movement kind of really kicked in, that and along with Trayvon Martin. But anyways, I met Lucien. Y'all cut that.
Edit.
Y'all take that shit out. Oh, I've been doing that for as long as I know him. I've been doing that. But okay. Anyway, I saw how they were fighting this system legitimately, basically with their own weapons, by becoming authorized, notified. I mean, who ordains this kind of power to make you a church? But anyway, they're an official church, and they got the same rights and privileges and 501c3 tax status as churches where they don't get taxed. And it's like, that's some beautiful shit.
This was before Hell Satan the movie came out.
Yeah, this is before Hell Satan the movie came out.
Okay.
Yeah, and I came back here and they already had like the nucleus of a leadership team for the chapter in Los Angeles. So I joined the LA chapter of the Satanic Temple, and we did some things and had some events. But I started doing comedy. I started doing secular comedy, and always been an activist. I've been an activist since probably the 70s when my sister got stabbed in high school.
Damn.
And my mother joined a local activist group, political actionist group, trying to get people in office, who could make some kind of ascertainable change to the system. So I've been an activist for that long, and I've seen all the injustice. I've worked in the prisons. Prisons in the 90s were full of blacks and Mexicans.
You've worked in two of the gnarliest ones.
Yeah, and they were real prisons in the 90s. I mean, they had like weight piles where they could work out, and some of the biggest, strongest human beings, because they lift weights all day. Because if there's a fight, they want to hit you one time. They don't want no long brawl. They want to knock you the fuck out.
Yeah.
So everybody's thing is to be strong and big, and testosterone and men, and it works the same way on the officer side. We have to flex our side, like I know it a couple of times I was kind of labeled as a rogue officer, but I was just really just enforcing the rules and regulations of the institution. I may have had a different way to do it, or all I did was play basketball and lift weights also, because I knew the people I were going in to be with 8 hours a day. So I was probably 20 pounds. I had muscle, but I don't need to do that now. So I have a much easier life. I can, exercise by running or walking.
Yeah.
But that's about it about me. And just finished a run for Congress.
Before we get there,
okay.
So you're from Lancaster, or you live in Lancaster?
I live in the Antelope Valley. I live in an unincorporated area of Los Angeles, which is approximately 1 mile south of the city of Palmdale.
Okay, Palmdale.
Palmdale and Lancaster.
Yeah.
They basically make up the primary population density areas of the Antelope Valley.
Okay, because for the audience, to us it's just whatever east of Los Angeles.
Yeah, nobody likes to go there. No fucking way.
So, well, it's crazy.
I
I mean, it is what it is, and I get it. But recently, when Planet B, our band, played out there, we were maybe gonna get another band of our Satanic Planet to play, and the promoter was great and the venue was great, but they made it aware that that the city of Palmdale would not be okay with a satanic labeled band performing. And I was like,
who told you that?
The promoter.
Is Matt the promoter?
No.
Who's the promoter?
Go ahead.
Come on, goddammit. No, don't bullshit me now. Let's go. Who's the promoter?
No, but he was saying that there's people in the city that would be have a problem with that happening. Labeled as a satanic.
Who are the people?
The venue and stuff too.
The venue had a trouble with it.
Not them personally. They were worried about pushback.
They wanted us to play.
They wanted you to play. He wanted to book us.
But who are they going to get the pushback? I want to talk to the people they're going to get pushback from.
I don't know. But
is it political people?
I don't know.
Is it church people? Who the fuck the people?
I'm sure it's the church people.
I was just
who's the people? Because that's a lot of power. That's a lot of influence. Did we elect any of these people?
Yeah.
Fuck them. Who are they?
I am on your side here. I agree with this. It was just very eye-opening.
Don't get me started. I mean, this is the whole reason I got arrested, fighting these people.
This is what I'm. This
who
is
want to rule the world with their religion.
Of course.
Fuck that.
And this is the thing that opened my eyes to wow, we're in California, probably one of the more progressive states.
Exactly. That's why I moved here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then to have it turn into, a theocracy in the small part where I settled at. Is the biggest oxymoron of my life.
Sure.
I'm like, man, I just think I could have moved into Long Beach. I could have been in the LBC with Snoop.
Yeah.
But
the shock of just labeling it at that.
Yeah, I need to know that. I need to know.
So I'll just say this: the promoter and the venue, they were great. They were just worried about the community, as they would say, giving them shit about it. It was really bizarre.
That's not freedom.
No shit.
No. That's not freedom.
Yeah.
I had a fucking rifle with boots on when I was 17, willing to give my life for people's fucking freedom. And then I live in an area like this.
Yeah.
Where people might not like it if you think a certain way.
Sure.
Fuck that.
Well, okay, so then it ties into this. I don't want to jump around. I mean, there's probably some kind of but the fact that you have this license plate. The first time I ever met you, you drove up and your license plate says "For Satan," and I was like, this guy's fucking.
That's freedom. I'm exercising my freedom.
And I also was just like you said, you're a comedian. It just was. I liked the. I don't even know what the right word is. Like, I like the fact that when you see that, you're just like, what the fuck, you know? And then you get out of the car, like not the person I would expect to get out of it.
Right.
But, so that license plate has caused you some serious shit. Like, it stemmed, I don't know, you can dive into that too.
Tell me where you want me to start.
Yes, I don't know where to even start. It was just, it's all
so
eye-opening.
many different things going on.
I mean, we're in Southern California in the year 2024, and shit is fucking lame.
And I get a rogue officer come to my house, an exclusive part of town, and ask me, "Where were you? Where have you been?" And that's the typical question they ask black kids because they want you to lie to them. As soon as you lie to them, they got you.
Yeah.
And it was so fucked up because when he came and asked me those two questions. Where were you 40 minutes ago? What were you doing over there? Because I know what they do and how they do it, my first initial thought was to tell him something else.
Yeah.
And not the truth. Because I'm like, what the fuck you at my house asking me where I've been?
Yeah.
And I told him, you know, he had ran my plate. He had ran my license. He figured out that I had a block on my license plate from the California Department of Corrections. If you run my license plate, my license number, it'll tell you contacted the California Department of Corrections.
That you were employed by them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we keep that because I know a lot of unsavory people. I know.
But how would that information change his way of dealing with you? You know what I'm saying? Like. He should treat you.
Either he thought, damn, is this some kind of inmate? Probably thought I was an inmate.
Oh, so if you were an inmate, you'd have the same.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I never seen that side. But as an officer, like, what would make you even continue?
Yeah.
Especially like, it wasn't shit burning down in your neighborhood. There was no riots. It was no fire trucks.
Yeah.
None of that shit. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
Just the way I left it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you spend all this time coming to my house and nothing's happened in your neighborhood to question me about what I'm doing in your neighborhood. I mean, I thought somebody was shooting a fucking movie. I'm like, are you serious? I sent you the video. I took 2 seconds. I said, people are not going to believe this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's him. But yeah, I'm in court about that one right now.
Wow.
But I can't get to a courtroom. The opposing attorney wants to get it dismissed. And I was so screwed over when I did have an attorney, I was so screwed over by him that I think that any judge that looks at it will hear the case.
So your problem right now is getting
my problem
attorney.
right now is getting an attorney. Right now I'm representing myself.
That's so fucking crazy.
And I got to represent myself on the next one for my arrest.
Okay.
I was arrested March 7th. I mean, this could be a you got to cut this up to make it 2 segments.
All right. I mean,
but
let's go.
I'm serious, but yeah, I got arrested.
So the arrest stemmed from this initial.
Yes,
okay.
Because let me tell you what happened. Let get this shit, because I'm suing him again because I had a deputy on duty scream at me in front of people that I was a liar about my arrest. I'm an activist. I mean, I'm really well respected. To have somebody with a badge on scream at you that you're a liar really infuriates you, especially when you know the truth. But he didn't understand. But it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him. I plan on putting in the biggest lawsuit in history. I feel like the witch burnings in Salem. That's what I feel like as the first African American Satanist, and I can say this without no doubt. I'm the first African-American Satanists to run for U.S. Congress. And I want people to see what happened. The last time I tried to run, I got arrested. This time, I got 16,514 votes as of right now. That's 12.2%. That's going to be very important to one side or the other, because I don't think they're going to win because more people vote in presidential elections, especially minorities, blacks and Mexicans. More of us tend to vote Democratic. So I'm going to be talking shit from here until the election to see if I can get one of these sides to help me get to the bottom of my arrest. They don't want to get to the bottom of it. And I'll tell you the problem. And I'm exposing a problem that the whole fucking country needs to know about. The reason black people can't get no justice when it comes to law enforcement, the reason they kill us in the fucking street, the reason they beat us like Rodney King got his ass beat here in L.A. is because there's no accountability. There's no accountability because the politicians use law enforcement as campaign fodder. They use them to suck up to them every time at all of their events for all the time they're in office. So when someone complains about law enforcement wanting accountability, you think you can go to a politician, somebody that could actually look into it, write legislation to change what fucking goes on? We've had a settlement agreement since 2015 in the Antelope Valley with the Federal Department of Justice. We have a consent team, what is it? Help me. Consent decree.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, same thing they have up in, I think, Wisconsin, where George Floyd was. It's because of the shit the cops do. How they disproportionately stop people with brown skin, blacks and Mexicans.
I'm going to sound like the asshole white person in the room right now, but do you think that the fact that, like, because, you know, when Rodney King was beat, everyone saw that. The fucking planet saw that. And it kind of shifted things, but not fast enough. Obviously, it didn't fucking help things.
It didn't stick.
It didn't. Yeah. It didn't. But now with social media and the ability to, like, film everybody all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it works both ways because you get all the Karens fucking everything up, too. You know?
But you get it good. But fuck you. The cameras are the truth. Yeah. Can't lie for a camera.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I digress.
Yeah.
I don't care how much media footage, and media is part of the problem. Our in Europe, as they say, the fourth estate or our fourth branch of government, the media is just as big a part of the problem as the people are for remaining ignorant and not finding a factual, foundational base of knowledge, news source that gets the truth out.
Yeah.
And the media is part of the problem. Our media has become entertainment.
I mean, media, there's things like Fox News, or there's things like Democracy Now!, which are like complete polar opposites of the spectrum. You know, it's
I know.
But
I mean, I watch Al Jazeera.
Sure, but
watch that and see what they don't tell you in America.
Of course. But unfortunately, everyone's just focused on the two or three conglomerates.
It's the feel what makes me feel good.
It's not even feel good. It's the ones that are like enticing you to be upset about bullshit. You know,
right?
Like,
and that's one of the things that's killing this nation is the division, and with the culture war bullshit. That if you look at the whole scheme of thing, it doesn't really matter. I deal with things that matter. I appraise real estate. I've been appraising real estate for over 20 years. What matters is these younger people, they don't possess the ability or the financial ability to purchase a home. Home ownership is the number one way to pass along generational wealth.
In Southern California, that ship sailed.
Yeah.
You can't buy shit.
Yes. They're outpriced. So we turn these into a typical long-term class of renters. Until they wait for either mom, dad, or grandma or grandpa to die to leave them a house. We turn them into renters. You know what that does, right? It makes the rich people richer and the poor people poor. And guess what? Politicians love fucking money. So guess who has the power? That Citizens United shit is killing our country.
Yeah.
All the dark money coming into politics, killing our country.
Okay. So where do we go? I mean, there's so much shit though. Like I don't even. It's funny because you were very great. You were great. You were like, I'm gonna prep this podcast, and you sent me a lot of shit. And I was like, I don't even know where to start at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I had a point,
Yeah,
and now
welcome to my life.
So what was their reason for arresting you?
Okay, and that's what I want to touch on. Because I'm a very intelligent guy. I pay attention to smart people. I listen a lot. I listen to smart people when they talk. You can spot them. You can tell them when you talk to them. You can tell they're at a different level. I had an attorney once before that told me, okay, they're fucking with you. What I'm going to do is send you to a friend of mine. He's a psychologist. We're going to get you under the stress of messing with your psychological mind, with your ability, your mental health. And he stressed to me the importance of taking care of your mental health. And I thought back through my career. I thought back when I went to the academy in 1991, Department of Corrections, Sacramento, Galt, California. As soon as we got into an academic environment, they said, listen, first thing y'all need to know, let the inmates vent. Let them vent. They're going to call you things. The black officers, you're going to hear the N-word. They're going to call you a nigger. Get ready for it. They're going to call you Eric. But guess what? They're just venting. At the end of the day, you're going to go home at night. They'll be in the cell the next day. So just let them vent to you.
damn.
So I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then with me being the kind of person I am, I could tell the inmates who just wanted to talk. So I would roll up next to their cell, be like, yo, Johnson, what's up, man? Is your cousin coming back up for visit this? Am I going to see her in visiting? Because I would work visiting a lot. And they would tell you things. And they would talk. And I had so many brothers, and I'm not lying. And this is what's giving me such a fit mentally right now, reconciling what I've done in my life, like wearing that badge for 10 years and now looking at the justice system from this part of a black person that they don't give a fuck about, especially being a Black Satanist. And I go, wow, all those cats that told me, you know, Steve, I really shouldn't, they wouldn't call me Steve, they would Officer Hill.
Yeah.
You know, Hill, I shouldn't even be in here, man. What I'm in here for, I took the rap for somebody else. I didn't want to say something, or, you know, I've done some dirt, but what I'm in here for right now, and I shouldn't be here. And now I look back and like all the times that I heard that, and I'm like, damn, how many innocent black men we have in prison right now? And then I look back again, because I was an officer basically during the 90s. I look back now and see that cannabis is legal. They're opening all these dispensaries. A lot of people making money. And I asked a friend of mine who's a state senator, I said, hey, Scott, who's all the people making money? And he said, Steve, I went to a meeting of the dispensary owners. They were all a bunch of young white kids with Bentleys, Corvettes, and foreigners. Asians. And don't get me wrong, my wife is Asian. Got nothing against the Asians, but I'm just saying, Indians got casinos. Even the Japanese that got interned in the camps got something.
Yeah.
We went through a couple of centuries of fucking slavery, and we get nothing? Give us cannabis. Give us cannabis. I wanted to incorporate, it's a place just east of Palmdale called Sun Village. It was where they made the black people move to because they wouldn't let them purchase land in Palmdale or Lancaster. And just think about the effect of that on generational wealth, because that land, I can tell you as an appraiser, is not worth the same amount.
With redlining.
Yeah. Same thing, but this is what they did. And me and a friend of mine, his name was Darren W. Parker. At the time of his death, he was the chair of the African American caucus. A friend of mine. He's the one that taught me how to maneuver in politics, you know, run for office. He was right there at my kitchen table helping me fill out the fucking forms to run for state senate. But we wanted to get it incorporated, turn it into a city. called Sun Village and put a state university there.
Hmm.
Maybe put a HBCU there.
Mm-hmm.
Something to educate black kids, Mexican kids,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's kids to get education. But it'll have the historic significance of being something that started out of hatred by separating black people from the general population. So
I mean,
that's still a dream of mine. That's why I'm running for Congress again.
but even on the real estate tip, like all the quote unquote ghettos are becoming gentrified, and
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
we have it here.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And I've asked myself this question for years. Why does the richest nation on the face of the earth still have ghettos? Why can't we get black people out the ghettos? Progress is taking too fucking long.
Yeah.
There should be no more ghettos anymore.
Should be a lot of things changed. We spend billions on war, and we can't even fucking
Right.
help out
How much
people
are we
with
sending to
healthcare.
Ukraine? How much are we sending to Israel to kill 15,000 children in a couple of months?
So when you ran, or when you decided to run, and I'm saying this like objectively, it seems like you have two things going against you: being black and then being a Satanist. Do you
Yeah.
think maybe you obviously can't hide the blackness, but maybe you could just say you're not a Satanist and like not? But also, okay, on the flip side of that,
No. Let's take this shit one at a time.
Okay.
You're asking me to give up my religion to make you more fucking comfortable,
It's not me, man.
or to make anybody more
Yeah,
comfortable.
sure.
You're asking me.
It's the system, though. Like how the fuck
Fuck
are you
the
gonna?
system.
Yeah, I agree.
You're
Dude.
asking me to give up my religion for your comfort. Well, fuck your comfort.
Yeah. But it's that it's that fight that you're. I don't know. I feel like you
I
could
don't
do
give
the
a fuck.
damage.
Somebody got to do it.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, it's going to be two things I'm going to be to the day I die. One is a Black Satanist. The other is a U.S. Marine.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'll probably be a Marine a couple of days after I'm fucking dead.
You're true.
'Cause that's how we fight.
Yeah, that's true. Huh? You get like a special burial or something.
That's
right.
right. Goddamn, I ain't going down easy.
Yeah. So, but do you think that maybe being a Black Satanist is also the thing that would like get you more noticed? I suppose, right? You're the only one in the game that's that. You
You
know?
would think.
Yeah.
I mean, this shit. I mean, when after I'm long gone, and they look up Black Satanists that ran for U.S. Congress and got 12.2% of the vote.
Yeah.
Think about that. 12.2% of the vote, 16,541 people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That could sway an election.
So how do you think that you got that amount of people? I mean, obviously you.
From once running before, I ran in
okay.
2016, and I'm an activist in the community.
Do you think your comedian aspect or the comedy?
No. Because see, no one up there really likes to come out and see me as a comedian
Yeah.
because they don't want to make it seem like I'm supporting Steve Hill, the Satanist.
But
So my crowds are thin. But when I come to Los Angeles to perform,
Mm.
just like on a regular Friday to Saturday night,
Mm-hmm.
with people come in who don't know me, don't have a fucking clue about me, don't know
Your
shit
stand-up
about
stuff.
me, and
Yeah.
I do stand up, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because people let their guards down. They
Yeah.
don't know. They don't know what's
But
coming.
then do you ever say like, "Hey, I'm also running"? Does it come up like I'm also running for office?
Yeah,
I mean,
last time I did at the Comedy Store, the
Yeah.
last show, I had the hostess mention it.
mention that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do understand like you don't want to toot your own horn, but like I feel like if people could get that information, it would be very beneficial. Like if from the comedian side, they're like, "Oh, that guy's hilarious! Holy shit, he's also running for office!" Like,
Yeah. Well, I think I'm more focused right now on the activism
cool.
part because it means that much more to me than being a fucking comedian. I hate comedians.
But
To be honest with you, I fucking hate comedians. I see the bullshit that's going on now with Cat Williams and denigrating each other when they're really talking about shit. I mean, we got so much shit going on. We got over incarceration. Black people are the most unhoused people in the country. It's black people. We've got food problems. We got all these
it's
issues.
so systemic.
Education.
Yeah. Yes.
We got the highest suspension and expulsion rates in the Antelope Valley of black kids. It's like There's something going on
Yeah.
there. There's a dilemma that we need to come face to face with.
I guess I mean like I'm trying to use it like a good example would be Jon Stewart. I think he's a brilliant man. He's a comedian. He's also
Brilliant.
a political
And he's
activist.
an activist.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of person who I'm like, you know what I'm saying. I feel like you're part of that sort of pedigree. You know, like you have the ability to
Yeah,
navigate.
but you know what? I'm blazing a path that has never been blazed before.
Of course,
I'm a black atheist.
Of course.
I'm a black man that will tell you, fuck your white Jesus. Because I know my history. I know my history. What sense does it make for us to worship the same God of the people who enslaved us?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But even you saying like "fuck your white Jesus" is comedic to me, at least. But,
yeah, and that's the whole thing about my license plate, my arrest.
Yeah,
it says for Satan.
I know.
So guess what? Fuck you if you can't take a joke.
Yeah.
So
when
what it is.
So when you had the run-in with the cops, like, is there sort of like this parallel when they find out that you are a Marine? Aren't they supposed to kind of?
No, there's no military courtesy.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. I'm in court now, and I talked to the attorney yesterday.
Do you go to court wearing?
No.
Like,
I haven't gotten to a courtroom
Okay.
yet. Trust me. Once
But
I
if
do,
you
this
do
shit
go to
is all
court, do you
over.
have to wear like a certain uniform, or that's only if you're serving or still? No.
No, none of that bullshit. I'm a businessman.
Civilian.
I wear a suit.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, it's a long story, but
I mean, it's
my arrest, the courtesy that you're supposed to get, it's like, and the politicians use law enforcement and the military to stay in office, and I can't understand. I'm a fucking veteran and a retired peace officer, and I can't get no help. Why is that? Because law enforcement is involved. Motherfuckers had me arrested for speaking out. And it puts you in a whole different fucking ball game, because don't nobody want to help you, because everybody's gotta love law enforcement. And that's why they can't be held accountable for the shit they do. And that's why they do the shit they do, because they know they can get away with it.
But do you think everybody's gotta love law enforcement is still a thing that is? I mean, maybe in Palmdale.
Watch what Trump is getting ready. He's setting it up
I
right
know,
now.
dude.
Remember yesterday he was at a funeral for a fallen officer while Biden was doing a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was all staged.
On Trump's side, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
He wanted to make it, look at me.
Yeah.
I care about a fallen officer. Well, you didn't care about fallen officers when you sent your ranting, raving, screaming, homicidal, racist zombies to the fucking Capitol on January 6th, who beat officers with Blue Lives Matter flags.
Yeah.
Do you know how fucking contradictory that is?
Yeah.
How oxymoronish that is, that you would try to hurt officers to stop a free and fair election? What the fuck is your problem? And what I'm having trouble with right now is just dealing with the portion of our country who can overlook all of that.
And still bring Christianity into the picture as well.
Right?
Didn't Trump start selling he started selling a Bible this week or something?
$59.99.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get that? I think they got a 2-for-1 special. You can get you some of those gold fucking Nikes.
Shoes, yeah. All made in China.
Yeah. Of course. Child labor camps.
Man, but I'm still tripping out on the police thing. So what, like, there's two things. I want to know, like, how the arrest happened, but also you had mentioned that they killed your dog. So these are like pretty substantial things.
This was in 2009. And this is part of the thing that got the Federal Department of Justice involved in with the consent decree and the agreement to change what they do. And they still haven't changed what they done. I'm fucking living proof that in 2020 I had a rogue officer come to my house to question me about being in his neighborhood because of my For Satan license plate.
It just seems so trivial.
Yeah, it seems so stupid. And I drove around for years and I felt free because nobody fucked with me about it. I mean, people would come up behind me, take a picture.
Yeah.
Like, look, this guy got a fucking For Satan license plate. Yeah. And they would take pictures. And I got used to that. But to actually think that there would be a cop on duty, especially with the shit that's with the settlement agreement and all of that, there would be a cop that would bother me about it.
So what was the thing that made them come to your house? Can you talk about that?
Yes. Yes, that's what I want to talk about. I had an attorney, and I think I mentioned this. I brought this up before. I think we got sidetracked, but I probably got sidetracked. But listen, I went to anger management counseling because I knew I was having trouble. Like, okay, I'm thinking about this shit too much, and it makes you just want to grab somebody and choke the fuck out of them.
Mm.
But I was like, okay, that's not an option. Killing somebody's not an option. I'm a peaceful person, really. Don't want no violence. Don't want to kill nothing. Don't want nothing to die. So I said, okay, let me go to therapy and just vent, vent, talk this shit out. Just like my wife does to me when she comes home from her school and her little third graders are bugging the fuck out of her. I know it's helpful to vent. This is what I was talking about when I talked to the inmates.
Yeah, of course.
Like, they say let them vent.
Yeah.
Let them vent. Better than them stabbing the fuck out you, hitting you with a shank. So, somehow, some way, I had a therapist who just happened to wander into the Palmdale Sheriff Station and say, you guys might want to leave him alone. He's real pissed off right now. No documentation, no nothing. But out of that, somehow, the Sheriff's Department contacted the State Department of Justice and said, oh, he's dangerous. We need to go get him. Coincidentally, it was not until I spoke out at a meeting about cannabis that County Supervisor Catherine Barger had, along with other politicians. It was held at a church, of course, in Leona Valley. It's about 9 miles west of Palmdale. Demographics reflect that it's approximately 96% white people who live back there. So they were at a church talking about the Mexican drug cartels. So when it came time for the Q&A, I got up and asked, are we going to hold any of these meetings in East Palmdale or East Lancaster? That's where predominantly Mexican Americans are, like 65%. I mean, a lot. Heavy Hispanic population. Like, are we going to hold them something and then tell everybody that it's the Mexican drug cartels who are up here growing all the cannabis and you're in danger? So I got up and asked him that, and I told everybody that this is a political event used to divide us. Divide us.
And it was live streamed.
It was live streamed, and the county supervisor jumped up and started screaming, this is being live streamed. So I screamed back at her. I said, bitch, I've been trying to talk to you for 2 years about other stuff, law enforcement, and holding them accountable. Coincidentally, about 2 weeks after that, I was arrested. The first time for speaking out. Because supposedly what I had ever told my therapist happened a year prior. A fucking year prior. Whatever she went in and told the Palmdale Sheriff Station happened a year prior. Coincidentally, it wasn't until after I spoke out that I got arrested. I've got all the documentation.
But what was the grounds of the arrest?
The first guy that came to my house, Department of Justice, I got his name. I can give you his badge number. I got all of that shit. I got his cell phone number.
Give it out.
He told me that I had been released from a mental institution. And I said, damn, what? He did this through a Ring doorbell. Because my wife and I, we were on our way to inspect a property. We're both appraisers. And I was like, no, you must have the wrong person because I've never been in a hospital in my life. Since I was born, never been in a hospital overnight. And he said, no, you were released from a mental institution, so you can't have firearms. And I'm like, no, I don't know who you fucking with, but that's not me.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is somebody joking. And I hadn't quite collected all of my signatures to run for Congress. This is the first time. This was in 2022. So I stopped focusing on getting my signatures and focused on, why is somebody at my house talking about, and I went to the newspaper first. I went to my politics. While they had me in jail, I called Senator Scott Wilk Congressman Mike Garcia, said, hey, these people have locked me up. Could somebody find out what's going on? Nothing. I got released in about 8 hours. But I'm like, come on, to have like had to be like 16 office agents at my house. I was taken to Palmdale Sheriff's Station.
What the fuck?
My guns were confiscated. My kids were brought out the house. And previously, because they know about my other dog, our dog, I heard them telling the cops, could you please not shoot our dogs? They don't bite. And it just took me back to like, this shit has traumatized the whole family of them killing my dog, and they still haven't been held accountable. But anyway, that was the whole thing about my arrest. And now I've tried to get help from everybody, all the politicians, Palmdale City Council, all the mayors. I got all their phone numbers. Scott Wilk, Senator Scott Wilk, Assemblyman Tom Lackey. I got a letter back almost over a year ago where his office contacted the State Department of Justice, and they told him, we reject filing charges. He needs to get counsel.
Huh.
And I'm like, do you people know how hard it is for a black man complaining about law enforcement who's still alive? I'm not in the hospital. I'm not dead. Do you know how hard it is for us to hire? Because they know historically we don't win. So they don't want to. And they never ask me, like, do you have money to pay? And I paid a retainer for that first attorney I had. They never ask you. They just assume you have no money to pay them.
Wow.
So it's really difficult to get an attorney. So I'm going to have to go. I've got about a week to do it. I've got to go and defend myself. I'm going to have to fucking hours and hours online studying how to write this legal jargon bullshit.
Wait, so you have a week to go? Like in a week you have to...
They asked me to come to court. This is what they did to me. When they wrote me the ticket, took all my shit, came raided my house. They said, okay, you got to be in court April 11th.
Huh.
I went to court. But first I got a letter that I didn't even know I had. I got a letter from the Department of Justice saying, you don't need to go to court. We're not pressing any charges against you. So I said, oh, no, fuck that. I want to know what's going on. So I went to court anyway. I got the documents to prove it. Proof of showing the fuck up. And I spoke to the district attorney's office while I was there. Like, hey, I need to find out. But yeah, no charges. I can't get into a courtroom. They won't bring me to court. They won't give me my father's guns back. They got my 9mm pistol. They won't give me. Nobody's talking to me now.
That's so crazy.
It's like everybody has fucking gone away. I'm in this state of limbo to where like everybody know I've been arrested.
But at some point, like they should know, like you didn't go to a mental hospital or you were in the Marines.
And listen, there are people, there are politicians that know what's going on. They had to. They were all there when I spoke out.
Yeah.
Alex Villanueva and Mike Garcia. Mike Garcia is the congressman. He the person I just ran against.
Yeah.
He was there. Alex Villanueva, who was the sheriff at the time, they both endorsed each other. I was trying to get on the ballot to run against him.
So most people of color who are wrongfully accused aren't of your stature or like, you know what I'm saying? So like they're just fucked.
Right.
By the
Think
system.
about it.
Yeah,
Think about what
insane.
somebody who's not me goes through.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they know, like most of us, we're not going to spend thousands of dollars to go to court to complain. And even if they do, they know historically
You'll
we
lose. Yeah.
if we're not fucking dead or beat up, you know, on
Yeah.
TV with big ass eyes and big lips and bloody.
Yeah.
You know, something they can sensationalize. And fuck the Democrats, because I got a feeling the Democrats, they don't want to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Just like Trump said the quiet part out loud about immigration. He didn't want the House to bring the bill up for a vote because they don't want the problem solved, because he could beat the Democrats over the head about it.
Oh, yeah.
And like, they don't want the fucking problem solved.
No.
Think about how disingenuous that is with people, and you want people to vote for you.
But then
And I'm thinking with the Democrats, like, you know how law enforcement and black people, you know that whole historic relationship. Why can't we ever fix it?
Yeah.
Why didn't Obama fix it? Why didn't people, you know, put mechanisms in the law, write legislation to hold people accountable?
Because
what the
people are
fuck they
profiting
do.
from the prison system? I mean,
Of
that's
course.
a huge thing, too.
Don't even get me started on the prison system.
Yeah.
When I was an officer in the 90s, I think the top pay number at Tehachapi was 34 cents an hour. And those brothers were making furniture for the state.
Yeah.
Some, the guys, the porters that worked in the cell blocks, they were getting like 13 cents an hour. That's fucking slave wages.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
And then, you know, most people don't know, but Biden signed that 94 omnibus crime bill that built and put all these racist ass cops on the street and built all these prisons. They did it while I was an officer. I saw several prisons getting built and people needing staff. Oh, you want to transfer here? You can get a lot of overtime. Like, no, thank you.
It's interesting though, because for me, I think for us, we're like all of us actually, like we're pretty far on the left, but I'm always like having conflict with these like bleeding liberals, you know, like I'm a Democrat.
Don't get me
like
started.
yeah, like
don't get me started on
yeah.
that. Don't get me. Listen, I'm going to war with them.
Yeah.
Gonna have to, because all of these, you know, the major population centers in my district, 27, Santa Clarita Valley and the Antelope Valley. Santa Clarita Valley primarily consists of Agua Dulce, Canyon Country, Newhall, Saugus, parts of Castaic, Valencia, you know, the Magic Mountain area, Stevenson Ranch. They're full of white liberals. Grassroots. You know,
are they
just
libertarian?
barking.
But they're like libertarians, right?
I don't know what they are. Some weird ass type of, you know, really they call themselves progressive, but then when they get an opportunity, although I will say that back when I ran, I think 2016, I had a group that endorsed me. Man, how could I forget their name? Like, Our Revolution. Our Revolution endorsed me. And I was like, wow, that was brave. But for the most part, the people who know my story, they know my history, they know who I am, scared just because of my religion. So that's part of the reason. You know, I got a lot of black people who are just straight up basically cowards.
Yeah.
So fuck them too.
Damn, dude. I mean, it is. I mean, you would know more. I mean, than I would, obviously. But like, the black population is very religious, which is wild.
Yeah. Pew Research Center states that approximately 97%. I saw somewhere that with like 2% being agnostic and one just atheist. Like ridiculously low.
Yeah.
It used to be higher than that. It was around 90. Now it seems like it's higher, and
It grew.
It's
Wow.
like we are so superstitious. We are so stuck under the power. You know,
I can't.
That's
wrap
why
my
Bob
brain.
is my idol. Bob said, "Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds." How the fuck you gonna worship
A God that tells you how to treat your slaves.
a God
Yeah.
that tells you obey your master?
Yeah.
You'll be rewarded. Like, you're gonna work the shit out of me all of my life, and then tell me I get to hang out with you in a place that is so sacred to you that you would have my black ass hang. I mean, do I have to be a slave when I get to heaven?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's
shit.
questions that need to be asked here, folks.
Yeah.
And I deal with it, and people don't. I mean, black people just don't like the fucking reality of me. Cause I'm a fuck you. You know, you tell me that God is good and expect me to say some bullshit back all the time. Fuck you. Prove me you got a God first. Show him. Let's take him to the ghetto and show him some of the murder rates, like in Chicago, St. Louis, where my nephew got murdered in 2017. Yeah. Let's take him there and find out why our education is so fucked up. Why we don't have an economic tax base to support our community.
The religious part is really tough. It is so hard to wrap my head around that on so many different levels. But the race issue when it comes to religion is beyond me. I just fucking can't get it. Yeah. I don't understand why people still have faith in that, and especially now in this year, it's
women
pretty
as well. I
Yeah,
don't understand how women.
I think most white women are in a hostage situation.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that your husband don't know who you voted for. Fucking get free. When you get in that voting booth, be who you are. Be free. Be true to yourself.
Well, I think a lot of times, especially with the Trump, I know personally from one woman that because you mail in ballots, so now the fucking husbands are right over their head making sure they.
Yeah, that's not freedom.
Yeah.
And as much as this country, who once held slaves, talk about freedom, I mean, they're taking away women's reproductive rights.
That is
And
fucking insane too.
We're going backwards.
Yeah. I
And our
cannot
people
believe
are
that's an
so
argument right now.
Distracted.
Oh yeah.
We're so distracted with, Beyonce's country album. Give a fuck about her country album.
But but also if
Pussy running from the fucking feds, all the kinky shit. All of these people with power and money do stupid shit.
It is true. I think when you're financially wealthy,
Independent.
you can do a bunch of dumbass shit. You change. Your DNA changes.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? The abortion thing's crazy. Like, the religious stuff is so fucking insane. And I mean, I understand when you got upset when I said why are you running as a Satanist? I understand why you are, but I feel like you're so.
Okay.
You're on the level. Like, you could just fucking make that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You could get
Okay.
there easier and faster and quicker and
Okay,
stronger.
listen. The last time I ran for office, I ran as Steve Hill. My motto on my campaign posters said people need to hear the truth. I ain't talking about no religion. If people come to talk to me about what I feel about politics and what needs to be done in society, our communities, religion is going to be like the 8th, 9th thing that comes up.
Yeah.
We got so many damn issues, real issues, serious issues, shit that's real to talk about, to fix, to find out where can we work together to get something done. I know we don't agree on everything.
Because it all comes down, it's so naive to even say this, but it's all capitalist shit, because it comes down to we have all of the race issues come down to capitalism. The environment, the fucking destruction of the environment, that comes down to capitalism. I mean, it's pretty insane how all this shit is going down.
Yeah, but, when you have all the politicians that will
Keep the
proudly
system in.
profess that, hey, I'm a capitalist.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I mean, there is ethical capitalism, but
yeah,
I feel
there is, but you know that in a capitalistic society, everybody's not going to make it.
No.
You got to have the fucking, I won't call them bottom feeders, but you got to have that large
called the oppressed.
segment who consume shit.
Yeah.
In America, it's
yeah.
consumption.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got to have that power. That's what gives politicians, the energy they need to obtain all of their political ambition. You got to get most of the people want the same shit, man. It's just terrible that they divide us on everything and keep us basically.
I mean, we do have to
working
share
for
this
them.
planet, but unfortunately, people are not willing to share it. And we see that across so many different divides.
Yeah.
I guess long term, what is your vision for running for office? Do you think? I mean, I want you to infiltrate. We need that, and it's happening.
Well,
it's just not happening fast enough. But
Yeah. Like I said, I got a pretty significant portion of the vote. And those are people who actually know me. Not because I got billboards and people knocking on doors and all that. They're doing none of that. Those are people, 16,541 people who probably actually know me. Because I've run before and I'm active in the community and people know I'm around and I do stuff. And I've literally praised thousands of homes in my district. That's my area of geographical competence.
how
I'm
many
a real
times do
estate
people
appraiser.
trip out when they're like, "What the fuck? You're a Satanist?" Like, that has to happen.
Well, I really don't bring it up that often. More people now bring that up than I do. I have people, hey, Steve, hey, how's my favorite Satanist? And I'm like,
you're like, I'm your
you know,
only
we're
Satanist.
in a public place.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, people will get the wrong idea, but people I don't hey, hail Satan.
Yeah.
I only do that to piss people off when I know people are irritated at just my presence, and sometimes they are, cause
It's a little added bonus.
yeah, they know I'm gonna say something that's probably true.
I mean, when I saw when I first I mean, I knew of the Satanic Temple, but when I saw the movie Hail Satan, I was like, oh shit, I get it. It makes so much sense. It is a thing, like to piss people off.
I've been recommending that documentary to people for years, not just because I'm in it, because it does a lot of the explaining for you.
It does. It really does.
And I find that, especially with black people, it's like they totally exhaust me, because it's like, you don't get it. You don't understand the freedom of worshiping Satan. You don't understand the love of being so free that you could worship Satan and say, fuck everybody. If this is your white Jesus, fuck you, I'll take Satan.
Yeah.
This guy don't sound like he's that bad.
Yeah. I'm going to sound like such a dick right now, but what's the rapper that was a Satanist that was like a big deal? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like recently?
They made the shoes.
Maybe, but now he's like, oops, I'm actually Christian or Catholic, or he like retracted it.
Nas X or something.
Yeah, little Nas X. I wonder, like, you know,
he did the cowboy thing for Beyonce did.
But did people scare him into like switching his because he was very successful as a Satanist?
I can guarantee you
sales.
I can guarantee you sales.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you his shit dropped off when he started talking about, I can take it from a Black Satanist that does stand-up comedy. I can guarantee you that shit was all for money. And that's why I hate comedy. I mean, I don't.
You mean him even identifying as a Satanist was for money?
I don't like the comedy industry per se. I don't like the being exploited, because I did comedy for years in LA. You don't get paid. You got to bring all your people to the show. Yeah. They spend their 2-drink minimum, entry fee, gas, parking, You got to bring all your people all the time, and you don't get nothing but stage time.
Yeah. And
it's like, after a couple of years, I was like, wow, this is like the biggest form of being pimped ever. And then, I'm telling jokes about political shit and atheism, and I tell, basically jokes about people that are jokes that you're not supposed to joke about.
Sure. Race,
religion, sex, politics.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I cover all 4 of them just by talking about politics.
Yeah.
So I do it. But that doesn't, get you a consistent following, because my consistent following, the people that know me, live where I live at. So they're like, I do free shows. They won't even come out. It's like, don't want to make it seem like we're supporting Satan, because they know when I come on stage, I might go, I got a whole set that I do on atheism, and I tell everybody I'm a Satanist, but I'm also a patriot.
So as a politician, do you ever do shows? Like, do you go and give a lecture as a politician?
Well, one of the only groups was a group in Santa Clarita called Atheists and Freethinkers. They were one of the only groups who wanted to hear my platform. So I drove down and I talked to them, and it's just like nothing special. You're just talking to people about what you believe in, what you think, and what you want to do to change our society into something that's more functional, because we're dysfunctional right now. We're fighting each other too much where we can't get shit done.
Yeah.
So I just talked to people, and man, I had a lot. I mean, a lot of people like, I'm gonna vote for you. See, and I got to give a shout out to Uber and Lyft, because I drove Uber and Lyft to raise money for my campaign. My wife don't. I got 2 kids in college. My wife don't want me spending money on shit about no activism. So I drove Uber and Lyft in my district, and I also spoke to people about my campaign, like I'm running for Congress, and you'd be surprised how many people opened up and really talking about deep shit. I'm like, wow.
In your 15 minutes, you're like, here it goes.
Yeah, sometimes it wasn't even that, man. I have people that I have to like push out of my car because like I got another ride I got to go to.
And they want to sit there and talk to you.
They want to sit there and talk because they tell me, it's like, I never get to talk to like a politician that, just sounds honest.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I know. People are starving for the fucking truth.
So you got to go back to that, even though you don't really need to.
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I've really been thinking, because I really, I've been in LA for 40, 50 years.
But it's interesting because you think about like, okay, where would this podcast reach? And it's not specific to any certain area, you know. I mean, obviously, as a podcast, we want to have the whole planet listen to it or whatever. But like, how do we get people to, like in your district to? I mean, I don't know. I want you to have legal counsel. I want you to have like more votes.
Well,
I mean, what do we?
I don't know because they got me on a total news blackout. Antelope Valley Press. You guys can Google them. I went there when I first got arrested.
Who owns Antelope Valley Press?
It's
Probably
the Republicans. It's a conservative, you know, right-wing Christian evangelical people up there. You know, Lancaster has more churches per capita than any other city in California.
Wow.
And Palmdale is not far behind.
Yeah,
it's like church all the time.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that I want to say, but I don't know if I can say it. For one, I don't have my guns. And we need to talk about that too. But Lancaster Baptist Church, I know they're being looked at by law officials. And the city of Lancaster itself is being looked at by, just say, law officials. Right now. It's a lot of things happening. You know, they've had it that way for so long, and I've been fighting them. That's turned me into an activist, all that. But, yeah. North L.A. County is going to be in the news a lot. That's where, you know, that Gabriel, you know, the little kid, his parents had him eating cat litter and they killed him up there, like torture. And it's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in the Antelope Valley. But because the big heads and the people who make policy don't like driving up there. So those people up there kind of do what they want to do. It's like their own little fiefdom. They, you know, kings of their domain per se. But I've been fighting them, and that's what I do. So okay.
Well, I wonder if there's another sort of philanthropic entity, you know, that would be. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be.
I thought about just starting my own thing called the Black Satanist of America.
It sounds
awesome. The good thing about it is you ain't
that.
got to be black, you ain't got to be Satanist, but you do have to be an American.
That's so rad.
And if you could just get Americans to be fucking Americans, you'd be hanging out with some really good people.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about starting up my own 501c3 after.
That's so
after
rad.
a while.
Could you imagine like?
But I'll just be affiliated with the Satanic Temple.
Yeah.
I won't. You know, and that's another thing with this whole Satanist thing. You got too many people fighting amongst one another.
It's
like
really
we're
insane.
supposed to all be Satanists.
Yeah.
What the fuck you fighting over there for?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're supposed to be going forward, making progress in the same direction, and you over here doing some bullshit.
But a lot of
slowing
like
everybody down.
But a lot of like atheist organizations work with the Satanic Temple, or they work in with each other.
But I don't know. I started around 2015, and I noticed that a lot of the mainstream secular American atheist type groups and Freedom from Religion Foundation, because I've been asking for help for a long time.
Yeah.
And Monica, what's her name? American Atheist. I forget Monica's last name, but she's an attorney. We're friends on Facebook. Nobody helped me. It's like nobody will fucking help a Black Satanist. But you know what? Fuck them. Because I'm going to be a Black Satanist till the day I die.
Yeah.
And fuck everybody, and I'll do this shit alone if I have to. I'll do it alone. But I'm a fighter, so fuck them all.
I'm glad you are who you are, man. It's very impressive. Yeah.
Shit. Somebody's got to fight these motherfuckers. That's a line from one of my favorite movies, A Soldier's Story, with Denzel Washington. A couple other really good actors. A Soldier's Story. Where Sarge was bullying them. They played baseball. Sarge was bullying them, you know, calling them the N-word and degrading them. And Denzel Washington couldn't take it no more. They said, fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fight.
I feel like
Denzel took his shit off and said, somebody got to fight this
Yeah.
motherfucker. So that's the position I feel like I'm
Yeah,
in
yeah.
with just expressing my right, my freedom to worship who the fuck I want to worship, which is Satan.
Yeah.
Good.
And the Satanic Temple, and I like their 7 tenets. So that's me, and that's just the way it's going to be. And don't forget, Steve Hill, 2026,
Yeah.
27th Congressional District. I'm going to be running again, and hopefully this story about my arrest will be out. I'm going to make sure it's out because I'm going to be talking shit from here till November.
Episode 41 of the Cult and Culture podcast. Thank you for Steve Hill being on this episode. So insane.
Thanks for coming to San Diego to do that for us.
Definitely. It's nice to have Black Satan on our podcast.
Yeah.
Sort of in light of all this stuff, we've been working with TST TV, who's been streaming all of our podcast episodes, the video episodes, and a bunch of other stuff, 31G related. So if you get a chance, maybe check out TST TV and subscribe to their channel. It's pretty rad. They have a bunch of really informative stuff. I mean, they have stuff that's like more entertainment value, but but a lot of the activist stuff that they're involved in, there's a bunch of lectures and like Zoom meetings and stuff that Lucien's part of. So it's really, really cool. I'm glad that we're up as part of that as well. So this episode fully ties into TST TV in many ways. But yeah, I don't know. This was a wild one, and I'm sure we'll have Steve back on a future episode.
Yeah, guaranteed.
There's so much we could have covered. So we'd like to just say thanks to all of our sponsors, Earthquaker, Fender, Heartwork Coffee, Diodario. We'd like to thank Andy and Becky. We'd like to thank you, the viewer or the listener. And there's no God.
Definitely no God.
If that podcast doesn't show you that there is absolutely no reason that there is a God, then I don't know what will convince you of otherwise. Yeah, thank you for checking it out.
Late.
See ya.
Cult and Culture is a Ruinous Media podcast, proudly sponsored by Earthquaker Devices, Heartwork Coffee, Fender, and Diodario.
Planet B.